What's going on, y'all? We are back with another video. In today's video, I want to talk about two teams. One team from the Eastern Conference and one team from the Western Conference. And those two teams are the Boston Celtics and the Dallas Mavericks. Let's start off with the Boston Celtics. As of right now, they are currently 14-14, which is 5th in the East. So that goes on to show you how bad the East has been so far this year compared to the West. Now, it's still early on this season, but as of right now, the Boston Celtics have been very disappointing, and a lot of it has to do with Marcus Smart being out, the lack of playmaking, the lack of depth on their roster, and the flaws they have on their team, which is no five really, too much pressure on Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and it shows because as of right now, they're currently 22nd in scoring in the league, which is way down from last year. Their defense is not as good as last year, and it's obvious that they miss Marcus Smart right now. They definitely miss Gordon Hayward, and it shows that they really need a 5-man, which is why they're very interested in Drummond. And speaking of big man, I need to get this off my chest, and I need to talk about the situation that was reported during the offseason. And it refers to Danny Ainge. So it was reported that Danny Ainge had a chance to get Gordon Hayward for Miles Turner and Doug McDermott. I believe Miles Turner was the perfect 5, which is actually the 5-man that the Boston Celtics needed. But it was reported that Danny Ainge, instead of Doug McDermott, he wanted Miles Turner and either Victor Oladipo or T.J. Warren for Gordon Hayward. Now, if all that's true, it just seems to me that that Danny Ainge got a little bit too greedy in the situation, and instead they got a 28.5, trade exception for Gordon Hayward instead of having Miles Turner and Doug McDermott, which in my opinion would have been the better deal out of the two. But that situation over with. They gotta move on. We all gotta move on. So let's talk about what they can do right now. As I previously said earlier, I know they are interested in Drummond, so we're gonna see how that situation when Drummond plays out. We see if he get traded or he get bought out. Now I want to talk about some of the issues. I want to get more in depth with the issues they have. They currently have right now, and that's besides everything. Too much pressure is on Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown to play, make, score, defend, to do everything for the roster while nobody else is really doing anything. Let's talk about Kemba Walker. As of right now, Kemba Walker has not been good. It's for good reason. He come back from knee surgery, knee injury, and he hasn't been himself. So I think it's gonna take some time with Kemba Walker. But as of right now, man, it's not working out with him. Kemba's not working out with Boston Celtics right now. And to me, it's becoming more and more obvious that they need a playmaking point guard instead of really a score first point guard. And I think Kemba's a score first point guard, to be honest with you. Now let's talk about Marcus Smart, man. See, a lot of people don't understand the value that Marcus Smart brings to his team. So he brings leadership, he brings playmaking, and he's one of the better defensive guards in the league. Now, I'm not saying when he come back he's going to fix everything, but he will help out a lot of issues they have right now. So I think once Marcus Smart get back, they will be better, but there's still a lot of red flags I have about this team right now. Let's talk about their big man problems that Boston have been having over the last couple of seasons. Now, I'm not saying that Tristan Thompson and Daniel Theis is bad. They are very solid role players, role playing big man. But like I was saying, I wish Danny Ainge would have signed off on that Miles Turner deal, which I think would have been a perfect swap for Gordon Hayward. Now let's talk about their lack of depth, man. That's one of the bigger issues, with this team as well. They had no depth outside of Tatum, Brown, Kemba, Marcus Smart. He really had nobody off the bench. Now, one player I will say that's been solid off the bench. I like Peyton Pritchard, backup point guard. I think he needs to be solidified as a backup point guard over Jeff Teague. That is my opinion. But Peyton Pritchard has definitely been a surprise, to me so far this season. Another solid player, who's been playing pretty decent off the bench is Grant Williams. He's definitely been providing that toughness for this team at that forward position. toughness and provide energy for this roster, and he's exactly what they need off the bench. Now, another area I want to talk about this bench lacks is shooting, perimeter shooting. Although Aaron Nesmith, they first pick, I think he was the 14th pick in the first round. They first pick has been getting more and more minutes lately, but he need to continue to be a solid shooter off the bench because they really like shooting off the bench. Now let's talk about some positive that I seen from this team. Is really honestly been Jaylen Brown taking that next step. He's taking that leap. In my opinion, he's a bona fide all-star, and he's potentially all-star starter. I had him as an all-star starter. I wouldn't be mad if he's an all-star starter between him, Kyrie, and James Harden for that second guard spot. He's definitely taking that next step. Jason Tatum has been Jason Tatum. He hasn't been as good as he can be, but I expect him to be better. I'm not really worried about Jason Tatum. So Jason Tatum, and Jaylen Brown have been very good for this team. But like I said, so far they played 28 games. They still have, I believe it's 28. I said they still got 44 games left in the season, so they got time to turn the season around. They got time to get together. They got time to get that chemistry, that chemistry all together. So they got a lot of time to make a run, and I expect them to make some type of run this season. Now, I'm not saying they championship contenders, but they definitely have some. They haven't been playing up to their capabilities. So we see what Boston Celtics can do, man. We definitely will see what they can do, man. So overall, the things that I blame for their struggles right now, I blame Danny Ainge for not making more moves, especially how he handled the Gordon Hayward situation. The lack of five should continue to be an issue for the Boston Celtics team. The lack of depth, and then lack of playmaker, man. They need a playmaker in that point guard spot. I've been saying this ever since late last season that they need a playmaker at that point guard spot. And I don't know if Kemba Walker the answer. Like I said, but he's more of a scorer for his point guard now, playmaker. And the reason why I say that is, because when you watch the Boston Celtics, man, they like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, especially Jason Tatum. Sometimes he makes things too difficult, a lot harder than it needs to be. So they need a true point guard, to orchestrate the offense, to set everything in motion, to settle everything down, and to get easier shots for the superstars, for they stars and Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. And honestly, Kemba hasn't provided that. He hasn't done that for the Boston Celtics. In my opinion, Marcus Smart has done a better job in those aspects, Kemba Walker. So like I said, once Marcus Smart comes back, I think he will help a lot in that regard, but I don't think he's gonna mask or cover up all the issues that the Boston Celtics is currently having. So yeah, that's so far my disappointment with this team. But let me know in the comments, am I right, or you feel the same type of way, or you think I'm totally wrong? Just let me know. Alright, and the other team I wanted to talk about are the Dallas Mavericks. I feel like a lot of people underrated don't talk about how important Curry was for the Dallas Mavericks team last season. And it shows right now, because they 3-point shooting had taken a really big dip from last season. And I understand them trading for Josh Richardson because they really needed perimeter defense, and they thought that they could still maintain this high level 3-point shooting. But as of right now, that hasn't been the case. And a lot of that has to deal with Richardson has been health and safety protocols. We had missed a lot of games due to that. But their defenses still have not been good, as they have one of the bottom teams, in terms of defense. However, a lot of these problems that this team has had so far this season is due to them not being healthy. And over the last few games, they finally become healthy, and you can see they've been playing a lot better. So I think Dallas will get it together. As it stands right now, they are 13 and 15. Is 10th in the West, so they still in the play-in game situation. And I expect them to eventually rise up into a top 8 seed. But that still don't excuse them, for them having a successful start to the season. And I actually do think that Philly won that trade, getting Curry. I really think Dallas missed Curry. Now here's another issue I want to dive into about this Dallas team is how Luka. Too much pressure is on Luka, man. He's having to do everything. As I'm looking at these stats right now, he's leading the team points, assists, rebounds, steals, usage rate, and his usage rate is at a very high high rate. And like I said, that's a lot of toll. That take a toll on the offensive player. So I think he got too much responsibility, too much pressure on him to score, to score, the pass, to facilitate, to orchestrate the offense. So Luka is having to do everything in the offensive end. With that being said, I did have very high expectations for Luka this year. Preseason, I had him in my preseason MVP pick. While he's still having a very good season, he still has 29, 9.5 assists, and 8.5 rebounds. He's still having a very incredible season, but as of right now, he's not in my top 3 MVP discussion. But that's for another time, another video. Next player I really want to talk about, what I've been I'm gonna say I've been very disappointed. I've been critical. I've been watching this player very closely over the last year. And that's Porzingis, man. And I think the biggest issue so far has to do, with Porzingis, and a lot of that has to do with him being out for the year, him getting his legs back together, him getting back in rhythm, him, getting used to playing basketball again. But he hasn't been that number 2 player that you need him, need him to be next to Luka, and need, him to be for Dallas to be contenders. Now I will say over the last few games he has been playing better. He's looking like the Porzingis, the bubble and late of last year. But I'm gonna go out and say it, man. This is not the same Porzingis that I've seen in New York. The same aggressive Porzingis, the same rim protecting Porzingis in New York. It's not the same player right now. And I'm just gonna go out and say this as well, man. As of right now, the way this based off me watching Porzingis, man, he's really right now he's a 7'3" small forward, man. He don't want to get down low. He's not protecting the rim like I'm expecting him to do. He really just out there playing a perimeter. He's not the same aggressive Porzingis that I've seen, in New York. So based off my assessment, I really believe that Porzingis want to be a small forward. So guys, let me know if you guys feel the same way about that. Let me know how you guys feel about that. Do you guys think that Porzingis is not being aggressive enough? Do you guys not think he's the same Porzingis for New York? Do you guys think that he really want to be a 7'3" small forward? That's how I look at it right now. So as Dallas, as you look for Dallas to play better and get, back up, climb back up in that standard, I expect the reason for them climbing back up in that standards is due to the player Porzingis. I think he's the X factor to the Dallas Mavericks team. So Dallas gonna go as how Porzingis goes. So we're gonna see how that situation plays out. Also, I want to point out the fact that I've been very impressed with how Jalen Brunson has played this year. He's been a positive for the Dallas Mavericks team. He's been that secondary playmaker, secondary playmaker to Luka. He's been able to take some pressure off Luka. So I'm really liking the play of Jalen Brunson. So, and then Tim Hardaway Jr. been that rock. He's been that third option as I expect him to be. And I know Kleber's back. Josh Richardson, like I talked about early in the video, he's not getting it back, and he's not getting back in rhythm. Finney Smith is back, so this team is healthy, like I was saying, and I look for this team, to improve in the standings. And the same thing I said about Boston goes the same thing I gotta say about Dallas. Man, I expect this team to be better early in the season, but it's only been 28 games so far this season. I expect them to turn their season around. I expect them to make a run, and I expect them to be a top 8 seed in the West. So even though I've been disappointed with these two teams, man, I expect this team, to get together. I expect them to make a run. Now, I'm not saying that Dallas, are contenders in the West, but I do expect them to be very competitive in the first round series and potentially make it second round. Depending on who they match up with. So I feel like I've been rambling on long enough, man. Like I said, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Just get that out. And comment below how you guys feel about both teams. You know, do you guys agree with me or you guys disagree with me? Let me know in the comments, man. With that being said, I'll catch y'all next video, man. Peace out.